I am very excited for tonight's interview. Tonight, I will be talking about the film The Thing, and I am with the director, producer, and screenwriter, Arad Naviz. How are you?
Yes, fine, thanks. Yourself?
Good. I'm well, thank you.
I'm
So,
happy to be here. Notably, the acceptance of my film at the Garden State Film Festival made me really overjoyed, especially these days in Iran that the country has been by anti-regime and revolution protests. I'm grateful to you and all the GSFF team members.
well, thank you so much. We are so excited on your acceptance in the film festival and look forward to screening it in person. Before we get into the interview, I'm going to be great if you could tell me a little bit about yourself and maybe a bit of background on the film.
Yes, sure. But before anything, I would like to talk about something more vital to us Iranians than anything else at this point, with your permission, which is the Iranian ongoing social movement. That's the murdering, that the murdering of Mahsa Jina Amini, a 20-year-old Iranian woman by the Islamic Republic's morality police forces was the main cause of it. Actually, Mahsa's murder was merely the origin of a revolutionary movement which had been founded a few years ago and only needed a basic stimulus, which was the killing of her. Iranian people in Iran and also in other countries are trying in the line of advancing the mentioned anti-regime movement through various actions such as demonstrations, civil disobedience, including defiance of mandatory hijab laws, strikes, and in addition, holding demonstration and parleying sessions. Doing all these action inside Iran, despite the brutal repression of the people by the regime, will continue until the day of accomplishing our goal. We believe in our goal, and we will continue until the day victory, which is near. And also you can see a sign of the movement attached to my shirt. Woman, life, freedom. زن زندگی آزادی. Yes, we can continue with the in the line of the film.
Thank you. Well, I
Sorry,
appreciate that. That's all right.
you're
Not to be sorry.
it's
Um,
it's smallest work that I can do for this movement. Sorry
of
for the time, and we can
course.
continue with the concentration on the film. Yes,
Of course.
sure, I'm here.
No worries. Okay, so just any bit about background about you as a filmmaker and
Yes,
any information
sure.
that you could provide on the film itself.
Yes. So let's go. I am Arat Navizi, a 19-year-old Iranian filmmaker. I started filmmaking when I was 16 with my first film, Suspense, and original title, Talib. Next, I made two another short films, Khalq, and it's the latest, The Thing, which has been produced 2022. Before talking about the thing, I want to talk about cinema, and let's start about talking about the thing. Creating a different world and its members forming arbitrary and unrestricted situations and disrupting the customary rules of the world with the aim of presenting the personal worldview and intended concept at the same time as generating the planned, uh, how can I say, pervading atmosphere are features that make cinema special for me. The excessive and continue with the thing. The excessive influence of the big names on the viewpoint of many people, which in many cases leads to ignoring their personal opinion, and after that, the reduction in the response of cinema audiences under the effects of the mainstream, pure industrial, and profitable cinema are the issues that have become a concern for me and had a vast role in the purpose of making this film, The Thing, or original title Shey in Persian, and its structure. So, in making this film, which was made with a chiefly young cast and crew, completely independently, I tried to create and specify its own world and the characters who are subjected to it, using some mise en scène, dialect, sound, and musical. I mean, the film score provisions, the people of the thing are living in a world that seems normal, but considering the false impression,
Mhm.
and on the other hand, big names effects that's involved them, they have been infected by a, how can I say, by a kind of hidden alienation and absurdism. Absurdism and fantasy were two influential elements in creating the mentioned atmosphere that I have mentioned. I was inspired by films of Jim Jarmusch, especially Coffee and Cigarettes, and Wes Anderson's films. In addition, the play Bald Soprano, I think, written by Eugene Ionesco, or UNESCO in French, and The Cripple of Inishmaan, a play by Martin McDonough, had an influence on me in writing and making the thing, which is obvious in both dialogue writing and directing. I saw a kind of mise en scene with some traces of theatrical one as a complementary element besides the other components for creating the considered atmosphere. From this view, I paid heed to paintings and also framing in both mise en scène and composition, which is one of the reasons for choosing a mise en scène oriented formation. It's better to say, yes, mise en scène oriented formation for the film.
Mhm.
In this direction, I made an effort to take advantages of cinematic facilities, of cine lenses and aspect ratio, which you can see a difference between aspect ratio in different sequences of the film. And as I mentioned about the musical capabilities and
Mhm.
musical actions, the film score, which is a piece of original antimeter music that is based on improvisation, has a striking role in introducing the personal world and atmosphere of the film. Generally, I focused on the sound and music of the film and their possible capabilities.
Mhm.
Ultimately, working with the actors and actresses, that's I have to mention that some of them are rookies, trying to adapt them to the film's world and atmosphere, and taking a creative experimental approach in all the stages of the film, from the development stage to the post-production stage, make the a challenging, somehow enthralling experience for me. Although I have to mention this too, although the film is mentioned as a student film, it has been made independently and it's mentioned as a student film,
Mhm.
that's in the category of the GSFF is in a student. The only item given to me actually by my university, Tehran University of Art, that is after qualified university, is the title of student and nothing then. I mean,
Okay.
the university did nothing but oppress me. In other words, I think the mention movement in the starting of the interview, many, including myself, were temporarily, even permanently banned from education just for protesting, which is an obvious right.
Yes. Well, that is very interesting,
Yes,
and thank you so much for providing the background on that. You mentioned
you're
that
welcome.
you're in the category of university student films, and you talked a bit about your cast and
Yes,
crew. Where
yes.
did you find your cast and crew? Are they other students that you interact with, or
Mm,
how did you garner your group?
mm. Yes, sure. I can start with the stages of the film,
Hmm.
or with the key points of the film, which is important for the film. It's your
Okay.
selection. How do you prefer I start?
Either or. You can go with the first one. The first is fine.
Oh, challenging of the film, yes?
Yes.
Sure, sure. To start talking about the challenges of making this film the thing, I can start from the basing and define the stages of making a film and continue go on. In the beginning and in the development stage, the screenplay underwent many changes, and I remember that sometimes I hesitated from making this film,
Hmm.
and which with my current vision I see not reaching a suitable structure form, structure and form for portraying the screenplay, and maybe entering the university, because in my opinion, concern about making and experiencing under the effects of increasing academic literacy is a common feature about freshmen, which is really important to overcome. I
Mhm.
see these as the reasons. After reaching the desired way of portraying the screenplay, imaging the screenplay, I entered the level of choosing the cast members, one of the levels of the pre-production stage, which was very important for me
Mhm.
due to my last experiences, suspense and the creator or Khaled. It was very important for me, and during holding several auditions, even for my friends who I had worked with before, the
Mhm.
cast was chosen. And along the way of making the film, there were changes in the cast group.
Okay.
And but the main issue regarding the cast of the film was training session. Considering the structure of the film and the fact that most of the members of the film's cast were theater actors, and
Mhm.
the way they played their roles in front of the camera, according to their profession, had inordinate exaggeration. The approach of the training sessions was based on the cast arrival at a suitable form for the film and atmosphere of the film. Notably, as I mentioned, some of the members of the cast are rookies,
Mhm.
and this film was their first or second experience. Parallel to the training sessions, I was searching for the right shooting location, but
Yes.
either I couldn't find the location I wanted, or the art gallery that I had chosen wasn't willing to cooperate. I
Mhm.
remember that to find the location I I had listed almost all the galleries that were being held in Tehran, capital of Iran, and
Okay.
I went and visited them, and also I was attentive to the behavior of the visitors of the galleries, which helped me so much to improve
Mhm.
the screenplay, especially in the section of dialogue writing, as much as possible.
Mhm.
Near the day of the shooting, oh, the coronavirus disease uh, became an obstacle for me.
Okay.
First, one of the casters of the film got infected with the virus, and this outbreak gradually reached me as well, which forced the temporary cancellation of the training session, postponement of the production stage. On the day of shooting, almost everything went well, and the only thing that was more challenging than anything for me was the time and budget constriction
Okay.
and limitation. On the other hand, it was not possible to shoot for more than a day in that art gallery, and even if there was, I would not be able to cover the cost of the crew and equipment. After
Mhm.
shooting, the post-production stage of the film took nearly 6 months due to my excessive operation.
Mhm.
Yes, especially about the sound of the film. My
Yeah.
sound editor was angry about me because of excessive operation. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, it seemed those things could take a while. And I was going to ask you a bit about shooting during COVID and if there were any precautions and
Yes.
difficulties with that. So thank you for touching a bit on that. Um,
Uh,
so I know that we're nearing, the end of our interview, but I wanted to just talk a little bit about, our upcoming festival and to see what drove you ultimately to submitting your film, to the Garden State Film Festival, and just how does it feel to be accepted? And will you be joining us in March?
yes. As I mentioned in the beginning of the interview, I am very happy and even overjoyed because of my acceptance FF, and uh, I can explain in this way that in a uh, dark world in that point of my life, GSFF acceptance was a really good news for me, and I'm very happy that joined the GSFF team by my film, and hoping for the next films, next attending, and even in-person attendance in the festival.
Well, we are so excited that your film will be showcased
Yes,
at our
thank you.
festival. And thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me tonight on your film.
You're welcome.
Just
You're
a bit
welcome.
about it before we cut off. Shey and the Thing will be premiering in Asbury Park during the festival, which is taking place March 23rd through 26th in Asbury Park. Your film premieres on Saturday, March 25th from 12:15 to 2:30 in Film Block AL3. So for guests and attendees that are there, please tune in. And Arad, it was a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much.
For me too, it's my pleasure too. I am so thankful for everything, hoping for the next meeting, for the next film, but
Yes,
free run.
we hope so. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right,
Thank you
take
very much.
care.
Goodbye.
You too.
Good
Bye.
morning for me and good night for you.
Good morning.
Yes.